Hello everyone, we are into the engineering graphics subject. Under engineering graphics subject, we are discussing a topic called isometric views. Under isometric views, we are going to solve a problem on isometric view of simple solids. This is the 8th solved problem we are discussing under isometric view of simple solids. Now we'll enter into the problem. The given problem is a hexagonal prism of base side 30 mm and axis 70 mm is resting on its base on the HP with a side of the base parallel to the VP. It is cut by an auxiliary inclined plane inclined at 45 degrees to the HP and bisecting the axis. Draw the isometric view of the truncated prism. This is the hexagonal prism and it is resting on its base on HP and its base side length is 30 mm, axis height is 70 mm. This hexagonal prism is resting on its base on the HP with one of its base side is parallel to the VP. It is cut by an auxiliary inclined plane at an angle 45 degrees to the HP and bisecting the axis. And then we need to draw the isometric view of the truncated hexagonal prism. Now we'll write the data. Here, the object to be drawn is isometric view of the truncated hexagonal prism. Base side length of the prism is 30 mm, axis height of the prism is 70 mm. Prism is resting on its base on the HP with side of the base parallel to the VP. Prism is cut by auxiliary inclined plane inclined at 45 degrees to the HP and bisecting the axis. The procedural steps involved in constructing the isometric view of a truncated hexagonal prism are divided into 3 stages. Stage 1, draw top view and front view of the hexagonal prism. Stage 2, draw section plane with the given condition. Stage 3, draw isometric view of the truncated hexagonal prism. Here, this hexagonal prism is resting on its base on HP so that one of its base side is parallel to the VP. Then its top view is going to be a regular hexagon with one of its base side is parallel to the XY line. This is the top view of a hexagonal prism when it is resting on its base on HP and one of its base side is parallel to the VP. Now we'll move towards stage 1, that is to draw top view and front view of the hexagonal prism. We are into the first stage solution of a drawing isometric view of a truncated hexagonal prism. In first stage, we'll draw the top view as well as front view of the hexagonal prism when the hexagonal prism is resting on its base on HP and axis is parallel to the VP and one of its base side is parallel to the VP. The hexagonal prism is resting on its base on HP. So the top view of the hexagonal prism is a regular hexagon with one of its base side is parallel to the VP. So draw one of the base side parallel to the vertical plane, that is parallel to the XY line. Here base side length is 30 mm. With base side length as 30 mm, construct the regular hexagon. 30 mm, that is side length of the hexagon as a radius, one end of the side as a center, draw an arc on the circle. Then with this intersection point as a center with the same radius, draw an arc. Repeat the procedure. Join these points in a sequential order with line segments. Then name the bottom base as well as top base corners of a hexagonal prism. A, B, C, D, E and F are the bottom base corner points of a prism and A1, B1, C1, D1, E1 and F1 are the top base corner points of a prism. O and O1 is the image of the axis point in top view. This is the top view of a hexagonal prism when it is resting on its base on HP and one of its base side is parallel to the VP. Then we will draw its related front view. For drawing the front view of the hexagonal prism, first we will draw projector from the point O towards the vertical plane. Then With the given axis height say 70 mm, locate a point O1. At O1, draw a line parallel to the XY line. Here the axis height is 70 mm. After that, draw projectors passing through the points in the top view say A1, B1, C1, D1, E1 and F1 towards the vertical plane. Then locate bottom base as well as top base corner points in front view. Here A dash, B dash, C dash, D dash, E dash and F dash are the images of the bottom base corner points of a prism in front view, whereas A1 dash, B1 dash, C1 dash, D1 dash, E1 dash and F1 dash are the images of the top base corner points of a prism in front view, and O dash and O1 dash is the axis height. Here we need to join the line say A dash, A1 dash, B dash, B1 dash, C dash, C1 dash, D dash, D1 dash, A dash, D dash, A1 dash, D1 dash with thin lines. With this we completed drawing top view as well as front view of the hexagonal prism when it is resting on its base on HP and one of its base side is parallel to VP and axis is parallel to the VP. Then we'll move towards second stage solution. In second stage, we'll draw the section plane with the given condition. Here, the section plane is inclined at 45 degrees to the HP and passing through the midpoint of the axis. Here, total height of the axis is 70 mm. Then locate the midpoint of the axis. The section plane is making an angle 45 degrees to the HP. So first to draw 45 degrees inclination line to the XY line. Then parallel to this line, passing through the midpoint of the axis, draw a line. Here the section plane is making an angle 45 degrees to the HP. In the present problem, we need to draw the isometric view of a truncated hexagonal prism. That means we are cutting the hexagonal prism with section plane and removing this portion. The retained portion is to be drawn in isometric view. For that, we need to darken the lines below the section plane and keep the remaining lines above the section plane as thin. Then locate the intersection points of the section plane with the face edges of a hexagonal prism. Here this is 1 dash, that is section plane cuts the A1 face edge at 1 dash, B1 face edge at 2 dash, C1 face edge at 3 dash, D1 face edge at 4 dash, E1 face edge at 5 dash, F1 face edge at 6 dash. With this we completed second stage solution. Then we will move towards drawing the isometric view of a truncated hexagonal prism. For this we are using box method. For that, first enclose the top view of a hexagonal prism, that is regular hexagon, in a rectangle. Here the pencil used for drawing the rectangle is 3H pencil and its darkness is 25%. Then name the rectangle as say P, Q, R and S. With reference to the rectangle PQRS, we will draw the isometric view of the base of a hexagonal prism, say A, B, C, D, E and F. As a first step in drawing the isometric view, draw ground line. On the ground line, locate a point Q. Then at Q, draw two axis lines, say X as well as Z, which makes an angle 30 degrees to the ground line. Here, the base is on HP. That's why the rectangle, say PQRS, also on HP. That means all four sides are making an angle 30 degrees to the ground line in the isometric view. For that, take QP as radius, Q as center, draw an arc, and then QR as radius, Q as center, draw an arc, and name this point as R and this point as P. That is, we are drawing the isometric view of the rectangle PQRS. For this, draw line parallel to QR passing through P, then parallel to PQ passing through R. Draw a line. These two lines are intersecting here and name this point as, say, S. Because the PQRS rectangle is on horizontal plane, that's why all four sides, say PQ, QR, RS and SP, are making an angle 30 degrees to the ground line. With reference to the rectangle, we are drawing the isometric view of the hexagon. The corner of the hexagon, say A on the PQ side, whereas B and C corners on QR side, D is a corner point on RS side, EF are the corner points on PS side. So these corner points are to be transferred from here to the isometric view. Take QA as radius, draw an arc. Similarly, RD also with the same radius, so draw an arc. Take QC as radius, Q as a center, draw an arc. Similarly, RB also with the same radius, then R as a center with the same radius, draw an arc. S as a center with the same radius, draw an arc. P as a center with the same radius, draw an arc. That means QC is equal to PE and RB is equal to SF. Then name these points on the rectangle, say A, B, C, D, E and F. First, join all these points in a sequential order with line segments as thin lines. The method which we are using for drawing the isometric view of a hexagonal prism is box method. For that, passing through the points, say P, Q, R and S with the given axis height, draw vertical lines. As you know, in the case of isometric view, the vertical lines are drawn with an angle of 90 degrees to the ground line. With P as a origin point, draw vertical line with the given axis height. And then name these points, say P, Q, R and S. Then join PQ, QR, RS and SP. Then we will draw the isometric view of a top base of a hexagonal prism. For that, take QA1 as a radius, Q as a center, draw an arc on PQ side. Similarly, R as a center with the same radius, draw an arc on SR side. Then QC1 as a radius, Q as a center, draw an arc on QR side. Similarly, R as a center with the same radius, draw an arc on QR side. Then S as a center with the same radius, draw an arc on PS side. P as a center with the same radius, draw an arc on PS side. Then name these points as, say, A1, B1, C1, D1, E1 and F1. Then join these points in a sequential order with line segments with thin lines. Then join the points A1, B1, C1, D1, E1 and F1. Then we locate the intersection points of the section plane along with the face edges in the isometric view. Here 1 dash is a intersection point on A dash as well as A1 dash. So take A1 dash as a center and A1 dash 1 dash as a radius, A1 as a center, draw an arc on A1 face edge. Take B1 dash as a center, B1 dash 2 dash as a radius, draw an arc on B dash and B1 dash because 2 is the intersection point of the section plane with the B dash and B1 dash face edge. Similarly, repeat the procedure for locating the remaining points, say 3, 4, 5, 6. Join the points, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 1 with continuous thick lines. Then draw outside edges of the truncated hexagonal prism with thick lines. Then the base edges as well as face edges of the truncated hexagonal prism which are coming inside are drawn as hidden lines. Here E to F, E to D, D to C, D to 4, E to 5 are drawn as hidden lines. This is the isometric view of the truncated hexagonal prism when hexagonal prism is resting on its base on HP and one of its base side is parallel to VP and it is cut by a section plane which is making an angle 45 degrees to the HP and bisecting the axis. Make a note, in isometric view, horizontal lines are drawn with an angle of 30 degrees to the ground line and vertical lines are drawn with an angle of 90 degrees to the ground line. Related to the pencil uses, the blue color lines are drawn with H pencil whereas remaining lines are drawn with 3H pencil. Blue color lines are with 100% darkness whereas remaining lines are with 25% darkness. Here base side length is 30 mm and axis height is 70 mm. Section plane is passing through the axis, say 35 mm from the bottom base or 35 mm from the top base, that is the section plane is bisecting the axis. All dimensions are in millimeters.
That's about the solution for the given problem.